Hello everybody, it is Steve, your friendly neighborhood lawn gnome. Welcome back to another video over here on That's Comical, and if you're watching, and it happens to be a Wednesday, happy new comic book day. So, I gotta be honest with you guys, I did not ever anticipate that I would be sitting in front of the camera talking to you guys about this specific movie that we're going to be reviewing today, but I guess because of the fact that I had the ability to watch it on Max, and I just needed something to relax after a long work week, why not give you guys my personal and honest thoughts on the latest DC film, Blue Beetle, starring Cobra Kai's Xolo Maridueña, George Lopez, and Susan Sarandon. So, Blue Beetle, when you take a look at the DC films that have been made since Zack Snyder began his run with Man of Steel, I don't think anyone would have anticipated, of all the heroes, a Blue Beetle movie to come out. I mean, Shazam, yeah, you definitely could have seen that coming, but you would think that you would have at least gotten a Green Lantern film before a movie like Blue Beetle. But then again, here we are, and that's why we're here today. So, Blue Beetle, of course, is based on a recent version of the Blue Beetle character. There have been many incarnations of Blue Beetle going all the way back to the end of the Golden Age, the early Silver Age of comics, with an independent company called Charleston, which introduced Blue Beetle for the first time, which would eventually get bought out by DC, and DC would introduce us to the Silver Age version of Blue Beetle that a lot of people are big fans of, and that is Ted Kord, who would also show up in comics like Justice League International, and would become a major best buddy to another DC character who apparently is getting a movie very soon, thanks to James Gunn, Booster Gold. But the version of Blue Beetle in this movie is Jaime Reyes, who is one that we have seen in numerous recent DC incarnations, whether we're talking about Batman the Brave and the Bold, some of the DC animated movies, as well as Young Justice. So, yes, Blue Beetle, especially the Jaime Reyes incarnation of Blue Beetle, is a fun character. He is a young guy who comes in contact with the legendary Blue Beetle scarab, which attaches itself to him, and they become one, and he is just trying to be a young guy living through life and trying to be a superhero all at the same time. A very Spider-Man-like vibe, if you will. I mean, it's even in the title. So, I heard a couple of things about this movie. Some people really didn't know what to make of it. Some people thought it was going to be fun, and some people just were not anticipating seeing it at all. I mean, it didn't get such high praises at the box office. It didn't make that much money. So, now that I've seen it, I will say it's okay. I mean, it's definitely not one of the best comic book movies I've seen. It's definitely not one of the worst, but it's not something to write home about. It's got some great moments. It's got some good action. I personally, as a comic book fan, appreciated a lot of the callbacks to the Blue Beetle legacy, especially the Ted Kord legacy. They definitely wanted to make sure that Ted Kord was acknowledged in this Blue Beetle film in so many different ways. George Lopez definitely is the highlight of the movie, along with Jaime's Nana. But, of course, when it comes to the old grandmother in any movie, you know that shenanigans are going to go down eventually at some point. So, George Lopez, of course, comes with the comedy being the conspiracy theorist character as Jaime Reyes' uncle, and you know, there also are a couple of things that, you don't want to see in your movies. There are definitely some political undertones in this movie, specifically when it comes to the fear of the other, as well as immigration. I mean, I wouldn't even want to say that it's subtle. It's clear as day. You can see it. But it's not necessarily something that people come to see in these movies, but this movie only mentions it from time to time and not being overly preachy. I think probably one of the other weaknesses of the movie is we didn't get enough of Jaime as Blue Beetle. I mean, we also have Becky G as the voice of the Scarab, which is also pretty interesting. But there are definitely some really cool moments. There's definitely some fun action sequences. And yeah, I will definitely say that there are also some points that will lag. So you're not going to walk out of this movie absolutely hating it, but you're definitely going to be saying to yourself, I don't think I'm going to be watching this movie again. And that's just the way that I feel. I mean, in regards to the direction that the DC universe, when it comes to movies, are going right now, I basically have no intentions to even continue on the journey. I'm not going to try and get totally invested in James Gunn's DCU unless people are really going to start raving about it and saying that we were wrong about this guy and everything is pretty awesome. I mean, I will still say that when it comes to 2023 and comic book films, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was definitely the best comic book film of the year. And that, of course, was James Gunn's final MCU movie. So, I just don't know. And I don't want to predict either. But I'm not seeing this movie again, and I have no intentions to get it on Blu-ray or DVD. And the same goes for any of the new movies that are coming out from DC in the next couple of years. Like, it's almost December, and people keep forgetting that there is an Aquaman movie coming out. That's a little bit weird. I loved the first one, but I don't really know how I feel about the second one, because much like Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and the Black Adam movie before it, which also didn't do too well in the box office, with the DCU being rebooted, we wonder at this point in time, what's the point? And I have no idea where Blue Beetle's role in this new universe is, because James Gunn has said that Blue Beetle is the very first DCU film. So there's no links to any other characters, minus a couple of mentions of other heroes, and there was no possible lead-in to the Teen Titans, which is where Jaime normally is in the comics. So, I don't know. Long and short of it, I saw it, I talked about it, and I'm giving this movie 2 stars out of 4. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Leave your comments in the box below, and let's discuss Blue Beetle. And I will see you in the next one.